Hello, Martin. Welcome to Automate All the Things. We're excited to have you.
Hello there, and thank you for inviting me.
All right. So we've got a lot of folks in the chat: Lisa, Penny, Joseph, Rebecca, some new folks, some old timers. Really excited to have you all. It feels like OAuth is one of those topics that either gets people excited or scared. Definitely scares me. But before we kind of jump into it, Martin, would love a quick intro into yourself, and who you are and what you do.
Sure, fantastic. Martin, originally from Russia, but now living actually in Barcelona, Spain. I started this agency a few months back called Automation for Lawyers, and that's how I got into all the no-code space. And as the name suggests, we help law firms streamline their process, improve their marketing, operations, and client experience through automation, and ultimately reclaim a lot of that lost time that is wasted in repetitive and admin tasks.
Я, можем поговорить по-русски на следующий стрим, но этот раз будем только
Отлично.
по-английски. um, yeah, little known fact, I speak Russian poorly, but
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
thank you. I've heard I've got a Ukrainian accent that's like my grandma, because that's how I learned Russian. But we're not here to talk about my grandma or Russian, but we are here about OAuth. So, we came together because you wanted to solve this and showed me a way to solve this. So curious, maybe before we begin, like, how do you know what OAuth is, and then we'll jump into like what is OAuth.
Yeah, so I was scared of OS as well, if like a month back, right? And then I decided like to actually go into it and try making an OS flow and understand how it works, because I needed to develop a custom integration for an application that actually didn't have a built-in native integration in Zapier or Integromat, and didn't have API keys. So the only option was OS. And so that's how I got into it. I investigated, and ultimately, it's really not that complex, right? You just need to understand the process, but ultimately, it works in a very similar way as normal API keys.
Yeah, and so I think that's what I'm most excited to show folks, or what you've shown me, is that once you get through the hurdle of authentication, it actually acts just like API. So maybe before we
Exactly.
dig in, like, what is OAuth? I know it's a
Mhm.
word that scares people. Like, what is it?
Yeah, OAuth essentially is a protocol that allows applications to authenticate and perform actions on behalf of users.
Hmm.
It is mostly used in actual applications, right, built for a wide audience. Those are, for example, the screens that when we are using an application, you want to connect it, for example, to your Google account, right? And you're presented the screen. Okay, do you give this application access to the following permissions in your Google account? And you click consent, right, or I agree, and that is essentially the OAuth flow, right? Now, in this case, obviously, we will do a more simple scenario where we just authenticate on behalf of ourselves in order to perform a certain automation.
Yeah. So, sorry. Whoa, that coffee was a little warmer than I thought. So OAuth essentially says, you authenticate on behalf of other people. So like, Zapier will let you upload via Zapier videos to YouTube, even though they are not you, right? You give them that
Exactly.
access. And that'll talk about scopes in a minute, and that's how we'll map there. But, in our limited use case, I think most no coders or low coders just want to use an OAuth API as themselves, right? So they
Yep.
just want to authenticate for themselves and then use that API as if they would use any other API. So really our goal here is going to be limiting it to say, I just want to use this API as myself, not give that access to other people so that I can use the API on behalf of them. It's really like,
Yeah.
let's get through the auth and then just use
The access tokens.
yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And then you simply authenticate just as we would with normal API tokens.
Right.
Um, with maybe the added difficulty of you sometimes have to refresh it in certain scenarios.
Right.
But apart from that, it's very similar, right?
Okay, so let me know in the chat. I think this is one of those, we're going to go slowly. We're going to try to go step by step. So let me know in the chat if folks have like worries about OAuth that we can kind of talk about from a theoretical standpoint. But our use case is going to be today is going to be, let's try to update YouTube titles via the API. So I want to authenticate on my YouTube channel, not the one you're watching on, a test one, right? And be able from Airtable to update a YouTube title. And I really love this because it's kind of solving a huge pain point that I have. and that Colleen kind of manages, thankfully, of like updating video information from Airtable. But it could be Vimeo, it could be any other OAuth. You know, the flow should be the same. So Martin, are you ready to kind of jump in?
Yeah, and just important to mention that OAuth is essentially a protocol, right?
Right.
And most of the APIs that you will work with will follow a certain structure that we'll cover actually in this video with the Google API. But just keep in mind that there maybe some little differences in how each service implements OAuth on their part. So you'll just have to go through the documentation of that particular API.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's jump in. So we've got a lot of tabs open here. So where should we even start? Right? Like,
Yeah.
what is the basics here? Where do we start?
Yeah, so for this particular use case, prerequisites were creating a new Google account, right, and a YouTube channel, and uploading a test video there, which we have already done before the stream.
Yeah, so let me just go show folks. So our goal here is to use the YouTube API to update. I'm almost there. This video. So it's called testing title change. I'd like to update this title.
Exactly, that's the case. Fantastic. Now, the first step that we'll actually have to do is create a new webhook in Integromat, and this will actually be helpful for the next steps that we'll perform. And this webhook will actually use to get any information from the Google service, such as particular access codes that we'll need later on. So maybe, let's just go to Integromat. Yeah.
Tell me, what is the whole flow? Maybe just theoretically, yes, okay, what is the whole flow, sure, and then we'll go step by step.
Yes. So the first step would be creating a project in Google API console.
Right.
Then we'll set up all the necessary consent screens. We'll add the YouTube data API to our project, and we'll also create a new OAuth 2.0 client.
Right? Got it.
That will give us a client ID and a client secret that we'll be able to authenticate our requests with.
Got it. Okay? So if I'm understanding the flow right, is that when a user authenticates, right, as like myself, like give me access to YouTube.
Yes.
Right. The OAuth API is going to give a separate set of tokens. There's like, here's the token for this particular user that you can use. So first, now we need to just set up the application, and then we're going to have a separate flow for getting that token.
Exactly. After that, we'll actually construct the URL that will present to a user, in this case, just ourselves, right? And that will actually direct us to that screen of, do you consent this application to use a particular scope, right? We'll talk about in a minute.
Got it.
When we click approve, right, that will send a special code to our webhook in Integromat.
Got it.
And with that code, we'll be able to make a request to the Google API to get our access and refresh tokens, which we'll be able actually to use to update our YouTube title.
Okay, so all very theoretical. So what we're saying right now, our first step is to set up a webhook in Integromat.
In Integromat, exactly.
Absolutely. Okay, cool. So I have Integromat. This is one of the few times I've opened up Integromat on the stream. So I know we have a lot of Integromat lovers. So this one's for you. So new scenario. Yep. So we want to add a webhook here. Oh, that's super slow search.
Yeah, just scroll down.
Oh, there we go.
Yes.
And
custom webhook.
Custom webhook. There we go.
Correct. Let's add one.
Add one. So I have tried. You're going to see in every single application I open, whether it's Google or Integromat or Zapier, there's going to be like 5 attempts at making a YouTube API work on OAuth. So that's why you have here like already a webhook called YouTube integration, because I've tried this before, but I failed every time. So I'm excited about this. So we're going to call this YouTube OAuth.
Yes.
Okay. Great.
Okay, that's great. Just press OK. And actually, let's save the scenario and activate it.
Right, we have to save.
And then turn it on.
Turn it on, yeah, of course. There's like 3 steps. Yeah, there we go.
Activate.
Boom.
And then just click the bubble and get the URL of the actual webhook.
Cool.
Copy address to clipboard.
Yep, done.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, that's done for the Integromat part now.
Okay.
Let's now actually go to the Google API, Google Cloud API console, and set up our new project.
Okay, and I imagine I need to be, so Google Cloud Console. So this is my separate email account. Let's go ahead and create. Do I need to, whoa, oh, there's a lot here.
Yes.
Okay,
We
yeah.
actually need the APIs one. So I can send you actually a link.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it. There's a little chat that we have between us. API services, dashboard.
Oh, there.
Go. Can folks see that? Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Perfect. So now we create a new project.
Okay. So
You can
YouTube
name it.
OAuth.
Select no organization. Well, you have a Google business account, so that you can create it out under your organization.
Okay, sorry, Connor. So can I do no organization or do I have to? No, I can do no organization.
You can do no organization, and for location, just go to browse and select the organization.
But I have none.
Because you have reached the limit.
Okay, let's just do it under.
Yeah.
Might have to hide my screen every now and then to hide some tokens here. Okay. So now I'm creating YouTube. This is a new project, and you're saying I need to add the access to the YouTube API in this project.
Exactly. So we go to library, and here you can just search YouTube.
Data. I know it's data v3 because I've tried this many times. Is that right? Yeah. There we go.
Yep.
Boom. Enable. Okay. I need waiting music.
Okay, that's great.
I need like some like.
You need some like lounge.
Exactly. Exactly.
Music, yeah. Okay. So then let's go back to the dashboard.
So there's a question from Amir. Do we have to use Google Cloud for this portion? And I believe the answer is yes.
Yes, exactly. So as we are using the Google OAuth, right, for this particular project, we do need to use the Google Cloud Console in any way, because we had to create that app that will actually allow us to authenticate on behalf of ourselves in this case.
That makes sense. So we need to authenticate once. We need the project as if it was an app that is going to be using other people's YouTube API, just so we're able to authenticate once as ourselves.
Exactly. And for each service that you will be actually building with OAuth, integrating with OAuth, you would need to follow the instructions for creating that developer app, right, inside of the service.
Okay, so I can go back here, just go back to the dashboard. Go. Now I'm back in the dashboard of my project, which is YouTube OAuth.
Yes. Let's now create a new credentials.
So this is my API key of the project, not of the user.
Exactly. Let's also configure first the consent screen, as the warning suggests. And that is the actual screen that will be presented to the user when they will be able to choose whether approve or deny.
Got it. Okay. So app name is going to be AATT. Yep. Need an app domain. Do I need this?
No, you don't actually need it.
Self Aron at code meets no code. Yes, Rebecca. I try to be very careful on the stream. There's some API tokens probably in some videos, but I cleaned them all right after the stream. Go applicate. Oh, we just let's just try that.
Yes, we don't need it.
Okay, cool.
Okay, and then for the scopes, essentially how scopes work is they give the application a certain number of permissions to the user account, right? So and this you can find in the documentation, right? So for one, for example, could be managing a YouTube account. Another, for example, could be uploading new videos, or for example, uploading new documents to Google Docs, right? All that kind of stuff.
Okay, and so this is at the project level. So we're saying at the project level, what scopes do we want to provide?
Exactly. And in this case, we just need one, which is just YouTube, OAuth YouTube. Exactly, the first one.
The first one. So we need
this will allow us, manage your YouTube account.
Okay, got it. So update that.
And just click update.
So we're saying within this project,
yeah,
your users, we as the project will be able to manage the user's YouTube account. In this case, it's just going to be our account.
Exactly, that's correct.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else we need to configure here?
No, just save and continue.
Great. Perfect.
Okay, that gives us a summary. Fantastic. Now let's actually go back to web dashboard and the credentials screen.
Credentials, yeah, awesome.
And here we'll create a new OAuth 2.0 client ID, right? So create credentials.
OAuth client ID, application type.
In this case, we'll actually choose yes, web application.
So
you can name it as you want.
I'm very bad at naming things. I feel like that's really bad. Okay. Redirect URLs.
Exactly. And here it's important to add that URL that we have actually generated with Integromat, right, with the webhook, and insert it here.
Okay, so this is, oops, bring up my clipboard. Go. So essentially, can you explain what this redirect URL is? Because that is confusing, I think, for a lot of folks.
So it's this essentially when we press consent, right? The app will send a special token to this URL, right? And before we're actually able to do that, we need to add it as one of the authorized redirect URLs on the project level.
Got it. So let me just say this back to you. You're saying that once the person says allow, it's going to send a token to some URL, and we need to capture that URL. So what we did here is we created that webhook first, right? Such that it can capture that token that we're then going to use in the API.
Yeah, well, the code, and then we'll exchange with the server, with the Google Cloud API. We'll exchange that code that we get for actual access and refresh tokens.
Got it. Okay, cool. So let's create. Oh, I forgot to add. I need to add. No, that was good. I think it was fine.
No, you added. I think it's good.
It was just...
We can double check that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's save that.
Perfect. Okay. Cool.
Okay. So now we have the
project,
the credential, and the redirect.
Yes. Two important things here. If you click into the client ID.
Client ID right here. Oh, right here. Oh, actually, click into it. Yeah, click into it.
Yeah, just click into it. There are two important parts of information that we'll find here. The client ID and the client secret that you'll see on the right.
Okay, got it.
Exactly. We'll be using those to build the request.
Got it. So can you just quickly, I'm trying to go as detailed, not as detailed, but as so folks can map this information to other APIs. What is the difference between client ID and client secret in this situation?
Yes. So client ID is just essentially identifies your app on the Google platform, right? And this particular client, OAuth client, and the client secret is actually a secret key that we'll be using to, in conjunction with the code that we receive from the user consenting to use this application in their account, to actually generate the access and refresh tokens.
Okay, got it. Okay, got it. So this is like authenticating. This is kind of like a normal API key in the sense that it's authenticating this project to be able. So.
Well, in a sense, yes, exactly.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I got those two. I'm going to copy paste this one. And do I need? I'll copy paste both, so I have both. Yes,
we'll need a client ID as well.
Okay.
Exactly.
Next step here. Okay. Where do we go from here?
Fantastic. Yes. Do you have the docs page that I have sent you?
Yeah, I do. I have it right here. So this is
maybe. Okay, that's actually the endpoint that we'll be using to update the YouTube video.
Okay.
Apart from that, there is another one that I'll send you in the chat, which essentially walks through all the steps needed in order to
got it. Okay.
To generate those tokens.
So this is actually how do we do?
Just go up. Yeah.
Go up. Okay, cool. That's gonna be a lot. So let's just spend 5 minutes reading this. No, I'm kidding. I'm sure you'll walk through it.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe just take the URL and bring it into the other browser so that we don't have to switch.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Go. There we go.
Okay, fantastic. If we go now to go up to prerequisites.
Prerequisite. There we go. Awesome.
Exactly. We have already enabled the APIs, right? In this case, the YouTube data API. We have also created the authorization credentials just now, right? So then we can go to the first step. which is actually
So we've done this.
Yeah.
We've done language. Yeah. So we're doing here obtaining OAuth 2.0 access tokens. Yeah.
Exactly. And the first step is actually building the URL that will be given to the user, in this case, just ourselves.
Just ourselves, yeah.
For that consent screen, right?
Got it.
And for that, we have to set certain authorization parameters, right? We define below.
Okay.
So what you can do is you can take that endpoint, click first HTTP or REST.
Yeah.
And then you can take that link and paste it in Postman.
We're doing Postman. Okay, so we're gonna have to kind of like go between two browsers here, and that's my fault. But let me know if it gets confusing. So this is just the one where I'm authenticated. So let's create a new request here. So we're just trying to authenticate the first time so we can get one token for ourselves, right?
Essentially what we are doing right now is we'll just build the URL. We could do it without Postman, but in Postman it would be just easier to add all the necessary parameters.
Got it.
And then we'll copy that link and actually go with it in our browser
oh, okay, got it.
in order to approve the application.
Oh, okay, got it. So we're just approving the application here. Totally understand. So that it's a get call, right? So we're going to do it in our browser, so we don't need to change that. And then we need
and then we need certain parameters in the URL.
Got it. Oh, okay. So we're just gonna like fill this out. We already have all of this information.
Exactly.
So okay, cool. So I can do the ones client ID.
Yeah, and answering the question in chat, yes, absolutely, you can do it using curl, or you can also do it using Integromat or anything else that is able to send requests.
Yeah. So we can actually just build this in the browser if we were like very
confident.
Yeah.
Exactly. But obviously the encoding of like some URLs will be
it's a pain. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, cool. So redirect URL. Boom. We have that. I have that here.
Hook. That's our exactly. That's our webhook in Integromat.
Response type.
The response type, as per the documentation, it needs to be set to code.
Code. Scope.
Okay, the scope is actually the scope that we will actually, this application will actually need, right? And in this case, it's just one again, the OAuth YouTube.
Got it. Boom.
And if you're defining a special scope here, it will obviously have to match with the ones you already defined on a project level, right?
Right.
If it doesn't, then the request will fail.
It has to be a subset of, right? So
exactly.
Got it. Okay. Access type.
Then access type should be set to offline, and essentially means that our application can run without any user interaction, right? So it can run in the background.
Got it.
Okay, the state and everything else is actually optional, and we don't need it for this particular use case. This is mostly used in actual applications that manage multiple users.
Got it. Okay, so this builds this URL right here.
Exactly, which we can just then copy, and then in the other browser we can paste it and go to it.
Okay, and this is gonna go actually to a prompt.
Exactly.
OAuth client was not found. This is probably on me. This is probably because I put in the wrong client. So client ID.
Yeah, exactly. You actually put the secret key.
Oh, okay.
And it's important to mention that the secret key of the client, OAuth client, is never to be shared. So it's secret information that is just used with your server, right? You actually use that client ID, which is public, in order to actually redirect the user.
Right. Okay. So this right here. Okay, that makes sense. My bad. Good thing this is not a real thing. Okay. Let's paste this. Let's go back. Okay. Yeah. So I'm saying.
Okay. Now you sign in with the account.
This is what I want to authenticate with. I want to.
And we want to manage your YouTube account, right?
Yes. Allow.
So press allow. Fantastic. I accept it. So it actually redirected up to the webhook. We can close now that and go to Integromat and see what we have received.
Okay, so let me see. I see a
go
1.
Back. No, go back. Yeah, go back.
I'll go back. Okay, yeah.
And if you refresh the list of runs.
Cool. Okay. What did?
Click into details. Yes.
Man, I'm excited.
Here,
this is working.
And here you can see the actual code, right? So that's the code that I was talking about. We'll now copy, and we'll actually just do another request. Now actually sending it in Postman to get the access and the refresh tokens. Okay.
Okay. So this is the code that then allows us to get the next
access and refresh tokens.
Exactly. Okay, and those are what allow us to run the APIs.
Exactly. That's correct.
Okay, so it's like a two-step process. So let's save this
Yes.
so folks will be able to reuse this, and I'll share this in the description, right? Let's
Don't
go
put
ahead.
the secret, right?
Yeah, no, so we need a new one right here. So new
And you,
add request. This is going to be get access tokens. And then I've kept the code, right? This right here. But
yes.
what is
And
the
actually will not
URL?
be put in there yet. Let's go back to the documentation part.
Yeah. Here we go. Yeah.
And let's go to step 5 now,
5.
which is exchanging authorization code for fresh and access tokens. And we'll be sending the request to that link.
HTTP, OAuth. Okay, so we're kind of doing the same thing, but just to a different URL with what we just got.
Exactly. But in this case, we will not be using the parameters. We'll be using actual the body of the request,
Oh, got
which
it.
will
Okay.
be a form a URL encoded. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So we need to. This is a post call.
This post call to
Oh,
then
yeah.
you click into body. You click form URL encoded, and here you do the same thing as parameters before.
So
And in
client.
this case, exactly. And in this case, we have both the client ID and the client secret, because this is actually our, let's say, private information which should run from our servers, so it
Right.
is not exposed to the public.
Got it. And so this is just to get that one. So we're said otherwise. We're getting an access token for Aron's YouTube account using
That's
our
correct.
project from our servers.
That's correct.
But this is only because we're only using it for us. We only have to do this once. Once I get my one token, pending any refreshes, I can then run the API just like I would any other API.
That's correct. And some APIs will actually, how the access and refresh tokens work is some APIs actually make that the access token is only valid for a certain time, for usually about an hour. After that, you have to use the refresh token that you'll get from this request as well, in order to update your access token, okay, on a periodic basis.
Right.
This is obviously done to increase security, and some APIs will actually not have it, and your access token will be active indefinitely.
Yeah. Okay. So while you were saying that, which we'll get into the refresh a little later, this should be good for an hour, so it'll cover the stream. But we can, if we have time at the end, we'll cover it. So I'm putting in my client ID, my client secret, my little code that I just received from the last call when I authenticated, right? And then grant type
authorization code. That's standard.
Oh,
essentially per the protocol. Yeah.
Okay. Ending by numbers here. Redirect URL.
This will be just the same URL that we used in the webhook.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So hook. Boom. Okay. Let's just double check this because I want to make sure. So client ID .apps.google.end user. That client secret. Let me just make sure I have the right one here. Client secret. This looks right here. Yeah, that looks about right. The code we just received from the last call. This is standard. That's the redirect. We're going to send a post call, and then we could send this, and it's going to give us an access token in that same webhook that we had a moment ago.
Actually, it will give us just a response back in Postman.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and send this. There we go. Oh,
okay, as you can see, let me make it bigger.
Access token.
As you can see, we have the access token. We have expires in, which is actually in seconds. Okay. So that's about a bit less than an hour. And then we have the refresh token, which we'll be able to use later to update our access tokens.
Okay, and so now that we have the access token, we can actually run the API with this access token, and it'll understand that we're updating my YouTube channel. So now, like for the next hour, we're kind of good to go. So for folks who are like, how do you get this to work? Those are the steps. You first need to authenticate your project. Then you need to authenticate for a specific user. It'll return 2 different things, an access token and a refresh token. And we're going to focus on the access token to be able to run the API as we would. And then if we have time at the end, we'll show you how to get this new access token every hour or even every 15 minutes or something like that. So
as you wish, exactly. Yeah. And this is precisely, we can use this access token as you would any API key with normal API key authorization.
Okay, so now we want to go ahead and run with...
Now let's actually, okay, are we building this in Postman, or do we want to make an Integromat scenario connected to Airtable?
What do people want? Like, do people, I guess I'll ask, what what do people want? Do we want to run it once in Postman, or do we want to set up?
Well, I think Airtable will be more extensive, and actually, like, we'll also understand how to do requests in
Yeah,
Integromat.
because both we still have to write a request, right? We still need to write that request, whether it's in Postman or in Integromat. And if we do it in Integromat, we're able to kind of extend and create functions. So what I would recommend, here's what I would recommend. Let's start by writing the API call in Postman, and then
Sounds
building
good.
out the flow to update it automatically. How does that sound?
Okay, fantastic. Okay, then let's go to the previous documentation page, right? The one with will actually be using to update. We have it on the right.
Yeah, here, 1 second. Oh, do I? Okay, here we go. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll be using this particular endpoint, which you can find in the YouTube Data API documentation, to update the video. Okay. So in here we have certain things. We have obviously the HTTP request, right? We have the URL, and we have the method which will be put in this case.
Yeah. So put
so let's
to
start
here.
Building it.
Yeah. Let's actually. Do we want to? So we're building it in Integromat. I have Integromat open.
No, in Postman. No, first Postman, and then we'll translate into Integromat.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Okay, we can do that.
Yeah.
So add request. So update title. We're saying, oops, that's the wrong one. So let's copy paste some stuff here. What? Whoops. What?
I hope it works, Rebecca.
Okay, parameters.
Exactly. Okay. So important to mention here, we need to add the authorization. And this will actually go, let me check. Well, if you click read about authentication authorization in another tab, we'll be able to see how do we actually use that access token that we just got, okay?
Right. So we
have just server side flow,
yeah.
which is that we are using.
Okay.
Scroll down.
We've done all. So this is where we were a moment ago. Set authorization parameters.
No. Actually, go down to after step 5. It should actually explain how do we use. colon Google APIs.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay.
Exactly. And if it should be REST, what we'll be actually doing in this case is the authorization, and this will be a header. Okay.
Got it. As a bearer token.
Exactly. That's a bearer token. Exactly. So authorization is the name of the header. And it will be bearer and then space and the access token that we just got from our call.
Cool. Yeah. So this is just making sure we have the right one. This one right here. We're putting it as a header to be able. Okay, cool. Got it.
Fantastic. Okay. Then let's go back.
This is okay. Authorization. We've done this, and then we can put in the parameters.
And the parameters. Okay. And this will actually be put in JSON format, which I think is the easiest.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna go into here. Save this, make a body, raw, JSON. Cool. Okay, and what parts? We just want to update the title. And I know that, so part.
Yes. So part should be set to snippet, right? Which will actually allow us to update the title in this particular case. As well, like all that you'll actually read in the documentation. In this case, we just skip
so we're doing
and this part will actually go in the query string, so in the parameters.
Oh, it's a parameter.
Yes, from what I understand, yes.
Oh, okay, cool. So part.
So part will be snippet. Right.
Oh, okay.
And then in the body.
In the body, we're saying what we actually update.
Exactly. In the body, we'll do an ID.
Yeah. Okay. ID. You must specify these property. Okay. So ID is the ID of the video we want to update, right?
Exactly. That's the ID of the specific video that we want to update.
Go here. Right.
Here, maybe just click into it and watch it on YouTube. That will be this.
Yeah, right here. It's this last kind of unique identifier.
Just maybe click it as well so that we can see as we update it.
Yeah. Okay. I'll pause it just so.
Yeah.
Oops, it's playing in my ears. ID, this is going to be a string.
Correct.
Comma, and then let me go.
Careful, you modified, I think, the ID.
No, I think we're good. Did I? No, we're good. We're good. Put a comma.
Okay, cool. And then we'll have the snippet object, right? And then under it, we'll have the title and the category ID.
Okay, got it. So we're saying snippet would be another, it's going to be title, and this is the new title that we want to update.
Exactly.
Okay, boom.
And then second sub object, right?
Oh, you must specify a category ID. Okay, and this is very particular about YouTube. YouTube wants category IDs. They really care about category IDs, but no one actually cares about them. So
and you actually have to find which one it is.
Yeah.
Important. The D is lowercase, and there is a Y that we missed.
Damn. Thank God you're here. Okay, category 24. So these are the.
Yeah, that looks good.
These are the two you must specify.
Exactly.
Okay, so even if you're not updating the title, you need to always pass in a title, and it'll update or keep if it's the same title as you had before.
Exactly. And then you can obviously set other stuff like tags, description, default language, whatever.
Right. And then description, I'm sure, is here. Description. So Colleen, we're going to be able to do it soon enough. Soon enough, we're going to be able to do it. Okay, so if I run this, is there anything like we should update the title with this?
Yes.
Okay. Let's hope. Rebecca believes, and I think it's important. Okay, so let's go ahead and send that. Okay, gave us a
that's
positive.
Fantastic. It's actually that's great because we actually received the data of the whole video object, which means that the token was successfully authorized. So let's go back to YouTube and we should see the new title.
Nice. I think that deserves some confetti. Let's do it. Nice. All right. That's amazing. I think just that. So now I'm just kind of just thinking about here, right? So now, I would theoretically be able to run this API call from Airtable, right? But
exactly, you could, but that's obviously you have to write out the whole code, right?
Right, which is well, whatever. I think ultimately, like, we were just able to do it programmatically, and I think the kind of hack here that we're doing is that we're only authorizing it once for our user. So for developers watching this is not like you can now go and build YouTube applications. It's really just for me, I can now use this.
Well, you can. The only thing is that you will be using a more workflows in Integromat, for example, right? You could connect those webhooks and store all the data that you need in the data store, for example, in Integromat, and then manage all of that authentication on the back end. That is doable with Integromat. That's just a bit more complicated and more time consuming than just doing it for one.
Okay, so let's extend this. So let's imagine that now I have my video information in Airtable and I want to kind of update the title here, and then maybe checkbox or click a button, and that runs that update with this as a dynamic parameter in Integromat. Is that where you're thinking of going?
Yeah. Let's maybe do a modified date so that whenever you change the title, it will activate the workflow, right?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, because when we click the button, we'll need to actually do some custom code to write custom webhook, right? Which is doable, but let's just not get into that.
Yeah. Okay. We'll do it with a view, with a checkbox and a view. How about that? Would that work?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm not a super expert in Airtable, as long as we can connect it to Integromat.
Yeah. It should be fine. Yeah, I think it'll be good. Okay. So let's go into Integromat. So I think we're good to go here. Luckily, I am an expert in Airtable. Not an Integromat. I like to believe I'm an expert in Airtable. Where is Integromat? Okay, here it is. Okay. So now we actually don't need this scenario. We need a new scenario.
Yes, exactly. It's just built a new scenario.
Then we want to do, okay, so do we want the Airtable to be the trigger, right?
Right. And that's why I was saying that when the record is updated, that's one of the let's say triggers, right?
Oh, okay.
You can use.
Yeah, let's do that.
Watch record. Exactly.
Yeah, I haven't used this in a while, so let's do that. Sure, that's our trigger.
Okay, well, actually, you would have to put it in there.
Oh, right.
So yeah. Maybe delete that.
We'll get there. I'll get there. My Integromat annoyances will alleviate. Yeah, this should be good. The base is AATT. I have a lot of bases, so I need to find it.
I see that.
Let me just find it here. I wish I could I make it as dynamic and just give you a base ID? It doesn't seem that way.
Yeah, you could, I think.
AATT number 67. OAuth. Boom. Okay, table. One.
Okay, before we do that, we'll actually need to do the created time or modified time fields, because essentially the connection with Airtable at this moment is actually not webhooks, so
Right.
it's not then automatically sent out whenever you update the record. It will actually go in and schedule it for example, for every 5 minutes, and it will do a custom call from within Integromat to check if there were any updates. So we need
Cool.
that modified time.
Okay. Yeah, Lisa, I spent a lot of time in Airtable. It is quite something. Dog fooding to the next level. So yeah. Okay, so now I've set that up, so it's gonna check on that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move this a little closer. Cool. Trigger field. Oh, I gotta refresh it. It's
Now
gonna...
just to refresh, yeah, just you have a button over there on the right, which is like
okay,
a
yeah.
circle. Yeah.
Grid view.
Just refresh the table as well. Just refresh the table.
Oh, okay. There. Go table 1, trigger field, modified time, incorrectly written. Okay, that's it. I don't think we need a label field.
Label field. I think we do.
Oh, okay.
We'll
Yes.
just put
Okay.
name.
Name. Okay.
Okay, fantastic. Then
Okay, cool.
run from now on.
Okay.
Exactly. And this, for example, will run every 5 minutes, right? I think the default is.
Okay, cool.
What we can do is we can actually do a test one. So let's just run it once. Well, before we run it once, well, we'll get the first record anyhow. No,
yeah, I think.
Okay.
Oh, does it? Oh, so I need to change it.
Let's go change it. Let's go change it. Yes.
Okay. Let's run it again. Okay, I got it. I got it right here.
Okay, we have the name. We have the name, right? New title number 2.
Yeah, right here. Okay, now we want to go ahead and run that API call.
Exactly. And for this, we'll use a custom HTTP module.
Is it API?
Or just no, just HTTP.
HTTP.
Yeah, there.
Okay. So make a request. Boom. Okay, and here
we'll define all the exactly the same parameters we defined in Postman.
So URL, this one doesn't change. Method is put.
Yeah, instead, well, yes, you could either put the string directly there with a snippet, right? Or you can actually put it in the query string as.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see what you mean. So, okay, we can reconstruct the API call just like
exactly.
We did. Okay, got it.
Yes.
So
headers. Let's update the header with authorization.
Let's copy. Authorization. Boom. This one is, yeah, so now it's not dynamic. It's always this one, but in 45 minutes.
We'll update it. Yes,
yeah, okay,
we'll
cool.
Update it.
Query string is
will be part snippet.
Part snippet. Boom.
And then body type will be JSON.
Raw. Oh yeah, raw, and I guess I just have to, yeah, JSON. There we go.
JSON, and then just copy the request content.
Yeah, and then we want here to change one thing here.
No, so that's the response. That's the response actually that you got from the server.
Oh, so sorry. So yeah, body. Yeah, there we go. Sorry, I'm trying to get ahead of here so we can. Boom. And then here.
Yes.
Right.
We'll put in the name, right? From.
Then I remove this.
To delete. Yes. And actually, you could update as well the ID because you did it dynamically in Airtable as well, so you can.
Oh right, you're totally right. Well, yeah. So ID. So just for folks, so that now we're saying, okay, go to the record, get the ID, get the right title, and then run this call. And I imagine I do want to parse the response.
It doesn't. Well, yeah, you could, but we won't actually be using it. So.
Oh right, we don't use it. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So save this. I'm just gonna save because I know you gotta always be saving.
Exactly. And then we can actually run it.
Do we just want to run this? It'll pick up the one from.
No, actually not. So let's change it again in Airtable and then run again.
Okay. New title 3. Run. So let's run once.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, fantastic. Now it should all be good.
Whoa, this is wild. This is wild, folks. I don't know. This is wild. New title.
Yay.
All right. This is a confetti. I don't know. I've been working on this for like 2 years. That's wild. That's just wild. I really, Martin, you've impressed me. I wish I could. I've been trying to automate YouTube from Airtable for, I don't know, Colleen, you tell me how long I've been trying to do this. So this is super exciting. Now, we have 9 minutes. Martin, can we in 9 minutes show how to refresh the token?
Yes.
Such that
I like challenges.
So our challenge, so just
yes.
in context here, our challenge right now is that we've hard coded the bearer token, right?
That's
and
correct.
It's good for 1 hour. Yeah. So how do we refresh it?
So first, what we'll do is actually create a new data store in Integromat where we'll store the access token and the refresh token.
So here, add data store.
That's correct. Call it tokens.
Tokens. So
data structure will add a new data structure.
So this is going to be tokens.
Tokens as well. Sure. Specification. So the name will be, let's say, ID will be 1, right? In this case, just to make sure that we somehow identify all of them, right? And get them. So let's just say ID default. Add.
But there's no default, right? Do I need a default?
No. Yeah, no default.
Okay, add.
So just add. Then we'll add another item.
And then
no.
Oh, within the token structure. So can I edit? Okay,
exactly.
Add item here. Okay, got it. So this is going to be access.
Then we hear the access token. Yeah.
Okay, same thing. Add.
Okay. And then the refresh.
Oh, and then I need a third one. Okay, got it. Yes, okay, this is the one I have. So the client ID.
I know ID will be just an identification of the record in the database. The access will be the access token, and then the refresh will be the refresh token.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So we have 3.
Just so that we can reference
record
the
ID
record from the scenario.
Okay, got it. The access token and then the refresh token, and these two I get from the API call to Google. Okay, I'm gonna try to save.
And now we can, if you click browse, you'll actually be able to see the structure, which will be the ID account. Well, they already have the key actually.
Yeah. Okay.
No need for the ID field, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's actually manually add it now. You could do this programmatically if you actually define like a proper, let's say, client, right? And you that's how you would be able to actually authenticate multiple users, right? But in this case, let's just say key 1.
So key 1? Sorry, yeah, okay.
No, just okay. So key 1. ID.
Okay, 1.
That doesn't really matter. Yeah, sure.
And this is the record ID. This ID is the record ID?
Well, it doesn't really matter. Like we didn't actually need it, so that was.
Okay, well, let's just put in the record ID. Because you're right, we get it from step 1, right? So this is bam. Access is
the access token that we have.
The from here, from step 2. This is the one right here, the one we just ran with. And then refresh token, sorry, just this one right here.
Yep.
Boom. Okay, so this is that example for what we just save. Okay, this is the one we just ran, for instance, right?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Okay, fantastic. That is already in the database. So let's now create a new scenario. Well, actually, let's first modify the scenarios that we already have to get that value dynamically from the data store.
Okay, so we're gonna rerun the Airtable one.
Exactly.
Oh, this is the wrong one. 1 second. I didn't turn it on. That's why. Should be. Did I not save it? Airtable. So what is it? New scenario?
Integration Airtable HTTP. No.
Where do you see it? Oh, here we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Edit. So here.
And yes, in between, we'll add a get data store action. Okay. And yes, you can do it like that. Just for a data store.
Get a record.
And we'll actually get the record. Yes, that's correct.
The store is going to be tokens.
And the key will actually, for example, can use the ID of the record in Airtable if you want to do that, right? No, sorry. The key will actually just be 1.
Yeah. Wait. Oh, because we're always going to replace it.
Yes. No. Well, we have set up the data store a bit badly in this case because we could just use the key parameter as, let's say, the record ID in Airtable and not need the extra ID field.
Okay, got
So
it. Right, but let's keep.
that was just like a mess up from my side.
That's okay. That's okay.
So
So we're just gonna always get the first key, right, which is gonna return.
Yeah, you could get it dynamically, right?
Yeah.
But in this case,
Oops. Wait. I just want to run. Or stop. Or did I just break?
No, wait.
So how do we test this as an example?
Yeah, you can run it.
So just run this module on.
Only. Yeah, and just wait a bit.
Do we need to? Oh, okay. Here we go. So it returns the access token and then the refresh
token.
Okay.
Exactly. And then let's modify our authorization header in the HTTP request with the access token that we get from the data store.
Oh, right. Okay, right here. So we're saying here, this, just the second part, not the bearer.
Exactly.
Comes from right here, access. Delete this.
Yeah.
Okay, save that.
Exactly.
That's it.
Okay,
That's the only thing that changes.
The only thing we change is so that now it actually gets it from the data store, right?
Okay, so this is kind of bulletproof, right? In the sense of if I run it again, so if I save, let's run once. New title 4. Okay, so that should work.
Well, you actually should rerun it because it's let's say proactive instead of reactive, right?
Okay, and then this worked, and it's a new title number 4. So now we just need to get the refresh token to update that record in the data store.
Exactly. And then for that, we create a new scenario, which can run, for example, every, let's say, 55 minutes.
Okay, let's actually, I mean, we can turn it on now, right? So let's go ahead and turn it on.
Yeah, sure. The only problem is that it has that window of 5 minutes, so we'll probably have to just run it once again.
That's okay. That's okay. Okay, so let's go and create a new scenario. And
here we'll just get the record from the data store.
Record.
Data store. Just data store, yeah.
Oh, and I could turn it on a schedule. So we want get a
record. The record. Yep.
Go to our tokens. Get the refresh token.
Key one. Right. As well, it could be dynamic in this case for all of them, but in this case it's just one, right?
Give it a second. Let's just make sure we get it. Boom.
And
refresh token.
Yes, if you click on the clock, right, you'll be able to define.
Okay, got it.
Thank you, Connor. You'll define how fast it runs, right? Okay. How often it runs.
So now we just need to figure out how do we get that. Is it the same call we did before?
No. Actually, let's go back to the documentation, and that's the last section that we have in the docs.
So here using OAuth,
just
refreshing an access token.
Exactly, offline access, right? So the URL will be that.
I think I can. So this is going to be HTTP. Make a request. Let's connect these two. URL. It will
be post.
Let's call
post. Exactly. And then in the fields, so that will be URL encoded. Okay. That will be URL encoded.
Okay.
And we'll have the following fields.
Okay, so let's do it one at a time. So headers. We've got
no need for headers. We don't need any header. No headers. No query string.
Oh, it's just a body.
Okay. Body type. But no, actually will be from encoded, and here we'll put all the necessary fields. Client ID.
This comes from right here. No, it is the.
No, that's the client ID that we have of the app.
Oh, okay. That one is static. That one is the. I'm learning here, folks. I'm learning. So this is the one that we want to make public. So
I think it's more down. This one.
This one, yeah.
Yes,
so this is our app client ID. So adding that.
Exactly.
And then
the client secret.
Client secret. I also have that. That's the one that we shouldn't share.
That's correct.
This one right here.
Yeah.
Also static. Then grant type, refresh token.
Grant type, yes.
Oh, we are so close, folks. We are so close. And then the refresh
token. And the refresh token will be the one we get from the database.
Key refresh token, and that is run right here.
Refresh. Okay, yeah. Press that. Okay. And now let's see what access token we had in the beginning. So maybe just look at the bubble, the one, right, that we ran. So let's just make note of it.
Yeah,
So it was something like
YA29.
yeah, YA29. Well, actually, the last part I think will be the one that changes.
Oh, okay. Let me just check. So WNZKY.
Exactly.
Let's run this.
So,
no,
well,
the whole
no,
thing.
let's just run the whole thing. Exactly. Okay, fantastic. And if we look up the output, well, actually, we didn't store anything yet, but right,
Right,
the
but we
access
see it
token
right
is
here.
it's a new one, right?
Okay, and then we want to update the data store with this information.
Exactly.
Dude, this is so cool. Update a record. Tokens. The key is going to be 1.
Yep.
And then the ID is the same ID as before, just because
same as I did.
Yeah, we've poorly structured. Access is going to change.
The new one, right? So that's data. Oh, actually, you need parse response in this case.
Oh, I do need to. Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
Parse response. Okay, let's run again.
Just unlink the last one so that it doesn't break.
We're so close.
Run once. Okay, cool. And this I think you can do this like as often as you want, really. The only problem is that those access tokens let's say you generate will live for the 1 hour, all of them, right? But
okay, even if it's okay, even if it's like I have 4 access tokens.
Even if it's refreshed, it doesn't expire the last one.
Okay, so I have data access token. Okay, great, perfect.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's link these two now. Where do I link them?
Drag data store. Yeah.
Okay, tokens. 1 ID is going to be the same ID as before.
The access will be the access token, and the refresh never changes. Actually, refresh never changes, so that's the one you had.
Oh, okay. The refresh doesn't change either for that user.
Doesn't.
Okay.
Exactly.
Cool. So this means
just save, and we can update it. Yeah.
Okay, so let's run this once. This is going to get a third refresh token, which is, PVP2, whatever, doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
So we want to set this every 50 minutes.
50, yeah, for example, 50 minutes.
Turn on. So this every 50 minutes is going to get new refresh tokens. And what this means is that our other one, we have one last step here. Oops, I do want to save. Scheduling on. Save.
Yeah. Cool.
Back. Now we just need to make our last scenario, the one we created with Airtable.
Well, integration Airtable HTTP, that's the first one.
Here, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this actually, we already set this up.
Yeah, exactly. So let's set up, let's just run it. Well, first change the Airtable record and then run it again to make sure everything works.
Okay, so we're saying this is a new title last time. Yeah. Okay, and I could just run it manually because it's going to run every 5 minutes.
Just edit, and you can run once.
Boom, boom.
So let's actually check the HTTP request if it's using that new access token. If yeah, so headers. One. As you can see, it's using.
Yeah, it's using. I can't say because it's cut off, but I can post it. Yeah, it's using the new one. No, this is the refresh token.
The old one? No. It shouldn't be the refresh token.
So where did we?
Wait, what did we get from the data store? Let's check again.
Yeah.
Access token. I think the access.
No, this works. This works. Did it work? Let's see if it worked.
Well, of course it's worked, but I'm not sure that
it's not updating.
It's actually updated the data store.
Oh, because it's using an old refresh token.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just go back here. So is it? Edit this one.
Update the record. Let's actually go to the data store and see what's happening there.
In the data store itself?
Yeah.
Okay, folks. We're going to be 5 minutes late on this stream. Okay. No, I need to go.
Just browse. Just browse. Yeah. Okay. It's weird that it didn't update the access token.
What makes you say it didn't update the access token?
No, I think it was a different one. It's like dash underscore v2, no, something like that.
Yeah, but we can't see the end. Oh, I see what you mean. Right here. Okay. Let's go into scenarios. I've got it on, but it might
But
be
maybe
because
just rerun it. Maybe just rerun it.
yeah, how do I? It might just be because
Oh, maybe it refreshed
it
when you
refreshed.
activated it.
Exactly. When I turned it on, it
Okay. So
refreshed.
let's check it now. Let's check it now. Right.
Okay, and then go record.
So let's access token.
Can't see the ending of it. -H.
Yes, dash H. Okay, fantastic.
Okay,
And now,
integration. And then
last time number 2.
yeah, we can just do new title, new. And then we can manually run this.
Like final, right?
Final,
When
yeah,
you
exactly.
name files, right?
Okay. Boom. And now let's see what token it's using here. Headers. 1. Paste this. Yeah, it seems to be using the right one. And so if we go here, refresh. New. Boom.
Yeah.
Good job. You got a
Yeah, it's confetti. That's correct.
Well, Martin, I think the next step here is actually I want to rebuild this whole flow in Airtable eventually, such that we use Integromat to refresh the access token, but then update that information in Airtable and then retrieve it so that we can actually kind of update everything from Airtable. But that's over a future stream. Martin, huge thanks for coming, folks. Hope that was useful. Hope folks can feel confident in OAuth. Martin, as a last step here, I'd love to know how folks can get in touch with you. What is the best way to reach out to you, especially with OAuth questions, which I'm sure you're going to get.
Yeah. Well, I think the best way is actually email. It's hello@automationfollowers.com. You can check out the website, or you can also collect on LinkedIn, which is just my name, Martin Kravchenko.
Cool. Well, huge thanks, everyone. Thanks for coming. Martin, I'll see you around. Thanks again. And thanks, everyone, for coming. And maybe I'll see you next week, but probably in 2 weeks with something new. Bye, y'all.
Thank you so much, Aron. And yeah, thank you to all the viewers again.
Thanks, Martin. Really appreciate it. Have a great day.